guys, my name is Kyra Deal, and today I'm going to be asking the age-old question, what kind of horses get sent to slaughter? The most common American belief, in my opinion, is that your standard horses that get sent to slaughter are old and unwanted and super skinny. This is true, they do get sent to slaughter, but it's these young performance horses that I believe get sent way more often. Now, let's go back to your old unwanted ones. Why would they ever get sent to slaughter if they're old and can't do anything for themselves anymore? That's a great question. Many people believe that if their horse is too old and can't be ridden anymore, they need to get rid of it because it's a waste of money. It's burning their grass and hay, and they don't want to have to feed it anymore. Another one is that horses can be plain mean. If you have an old one that's been abused for their whole life or just even has a tick up their sleeve, they're good, and you can't rehabilitate them, they're probably going to be sent to slaughter because no one wants to work with them for the danger of being hurt. Another one, a big one that I commonly believe that we all think of is abused old horses. This picture right here is an abused old horse. She is super skinny. She has multiple wounds over her, and she got sent to slaughter because no one wants to have to pay for her anymore. Now, racetrack horses, on the other hand, are commonly sent to slaughter. And I say that because if there's a racehorse that didn't earn its worth, basically, it came in last in every race, it didn't earn enough money, it's not training like they weren't supposed to, it gets hurt, the trainer's not going to have to come down to the decision of, am I going to keep training this or am I going to sell him? They're going to sell him. They don't want to have to put any more money into what they're already doing when they can get a better horse out of a better race and keep going with them and earning much more money. Now, with racehorses, there comes a danger with human consumption after they've been on the track, and that's because of drug use. And when I say drugs, I don't mean like bad drugs, I mean like anti-inflammatories and pain relievers. Phenylbutazone is a very common anti-inflammatory and pain medication used in horses. I've used it, many of my friends have used it, and I know it's mainly used in the racing industry. It's great for those horses that are sore and are down and don't want to race that day. You give them some little phenylbutazone and they feel great. And after they're done racing, they get stall rest and then they go back. Well, the issue with phenylbutazone is as a 30-day withdrawal period. And if you're familiar with cattle antibiotics, swine antibiotics, sheep antibiotics, you'll know that when there's a withdrawal period, you cannot send that animal to slaughter. Well, when we're transporting these horses, they don't have vet records sent with them. Why would they? They're being sent to Mexico and Canada. So, these horses that are being transported there, they don't have any vet records, so you don't know if these horses being sent to slaughter have been injected with anything that can cause harm. That's why most of those horses don't end up as human consumption. They use up as animal food, other waste products, and much more. Well, also with transportation, this is the kind of trailer they're holding. They're holding a double-decker cattle trailer. It's just a slightly bit taller than a regular double-decker. This is a problem. Horses can get hurt very easily in this. They can hit their heads on the ceilings. They can get stamped on because they're not used to being in such low quarters for such a long time. They're also not given food or water. That's not the biggest concern because normally for slaughter plants, you hold off food and water 24 hours before. So that's pretty common. It just depends on how long that these horses are actually going to be in the trailer. Now I know you're asking, why are they being sent to Mexico and Canada? Why don't we just do it here? We used to. Before 2007, there were 3 horse slaughter plants in the United States. 2 in Texas, 1 in Illinois. These plants were all shut down in 2007 or before due to the high rise of people realizing that horse slaughter is not something they want to do, that horses are pets and not livestock. So these plants got shut down. Also, the government stepped in and refused to fund inspectors for these slaughter plants. And if you know, slaughter plants have to be federally inspected in order to be functioning in the United States. So, we're not allowed to have them anymore. And as this graph represents, it's actually really great. These are where these horses would come from, and the sellers right here, and then they'll be transferred to a holding pen, basically, and then they'll be sent to a slaughter plant deep in Mexico. So if you think about it, these horses are traveling from here to here. It's a long time on a trailer without food and water, being in such close quarters and being hurt. Also, another reason that the plants got shut down in America, they weren't up to code, and so they had to be shut down by the American government. So, speaking of the legislation I was talking about with the federal inspectors, in 1998, California passed a bill that absolutely no horse slaughter was going to happen in California. In 2005, an amendment was passed to stop the funding completely for federal horse slaughter inspectors. In 2006, the federal government passed a law that banned horses being sold and transported for human consumption. Now this, 2006 one, was huge for the horse community. There was an incident that happened where 27 draft horses were in a double-decker cattle trailer, and there was a wreck. And these horses, I believe about 25 of them had to be put down because of their injuries were so bad. They were being sent to a slaughterhouse in Mexico. And once the government figured that out, they stepped in and said, absolutely no transportation or selling of horses for human consumption. If you get caught with this, you can and will be fined and can have some possible jail time. Going on in 2014, there was a federal budget that was passed that does not allocate for any at all federal horse slaughter inspectors. And they're saying that was in 2005 too. That's true, but now they're passing the budget where it abs has literature that horse slaughter inspectors will not be written in at all. So, since all that's happened, how safe is horse meat? On one hand, horse meat's very safe and a delicacy in other countries. In Italy alone, they eat 16,527 tons of horse meat a year. That's insane. That's pretty high to what we eat in beef. That's because horses are readily available there. They're pretty good in protein, they're pretty lean, and according to Italy, they taste pretty good. So if you can feed your family for a pretty good price with a horse in Italy, why not? So that goes on to say, is there any preventatives or alternatives to horse slaughter? Yes, there very much is. There's numerous rescues, sanctuaries, personal people that will come in, take these horses, rehabilitate them, get them the medical care they need, and will love them until the day they die. If you have a sickly horse that's skinny, there's also humane euthanasia. Yes, that does cost money, but compared to the alternative where they're being traveling for hours upon hours and upon hours, what's the difference? There's also many people who take these off-the-track thoroughbreds, which are all three of these pictures are off-the-track thoroughbreds that have been rehabilitated to do something else. Dressage, eventing, cross-country jumping, western pleasure, reining, barrel racing, the list goes on and on and on. And there's also personal people who will rehabilitate these horses just so they can have a companion, a riding companion that they can just go ride the pastures and work some cattle on. So, is horse slaughter really beneficial? Yes and no. Yes, because to other countries, hey, that's food for us. Yes, it's because we're getting rid of the many millions of horses that are here in the United States that are wasting away to nothing because there's people that just can't take care of them. There are some horses that can't be retrained or anything, so if those horses go off, then it's one less expense for someone else. There's an ability for the government, or not the government, the economy, to do pretty well when you sell horse meat. I would say it's a pretty big benefit because if you're able to import or export horse meat, that's just giving you extra money for your economy. So who's to say that horse slaughter isn't really beneficial? Thank you guys so much for listening to me. If you have any questions, please